Okay, so welcome to Zine Design Three Ways. I am one of the presenters, and then each of the others will introduce themselves when it gets to them. But I'm the Zine librarian at Barnard, so I wanted to formally thank all of you for coming and just sort of acknowledge that, hey, we're in the world. There's a lot of weird things going on, so please be here however you are. I'm just going to grab our slideshow real quick and share that with you. You know what? I didn't grab the link. Rita or Jocelyn, will you grab the link to it and share it in the chat or make it shareable? Okay, so I am sharing because I know sometimes people prefer to follow along. Oh, I hate when this goes full screen. I'm not prepared for this. All right, I'm going to do it anyway. Oh, okay. So I do also want to give a quick introduction to the Barnard Library, which is I think a lot of you are Barnard and Columbia affiliates, and if you're not, you've been to the Barnard Zine Library or to the New York City Feminist Zine Fest. But I'm just going to give you this quick intro. We have a zine library. It's on the second floor of the library. The items in it are available for circulation. They're also available for research. And though the library is closed, I'm going in every other week and doing scanning and getting and supporting research. So please don't hesitate. I appreciate that folks are generally really thoughtful about library staff labor, and I like you to be, but I also invite you to ask for what you want and need, and your requests can help us to get what we want and need. And I'm not keeping an eye on the chat, Jocelyn and Rita, so please call
We're
my
all good.
attention. Okay, thank you. Um, I'm just going to share the Barnard Zine Library definition of a zine for anyone who is not familiar. Or you know what? I'm not because I don't want to. I'm going to skip that. Um, I do want to call your attention though to the fact that we have a quarantine collection. So if any of you are making zines, I would love to have them for the Barnard Zine Library, and I would be glad to buy them from you. Even I like to try to get 2 copies of each zine. So here I will try to pop this in the chat. This is the link to our quarantine collection. And I also want to call your attention to the fact that we have a zine club. I'm just looking to see if Magno is here. I don't see one of our zine club leaders may join us at some point, and if you want to ask her about the zine club, you can, or you're also always welcome to email me at zines@barnard.edu. So now I'm gonna go back. Oh, I think folks can't see this, right? Can you see the full screen version where it just changed? Okay, no. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing and turn it over to Jocelyn, who's taking over now, and let her share her screen. Okay, thank you, everybody.
Awesome. I'm so glad that we could do this. So I'm going to go ahead and um, talk a little bit about our prompt and how we're going to organize our day. So um, we want to create a zine with the title from pathos to pathos using 3 different softwares. So we're using roughly the same title. I know caught mine like pathos and pathos, but it's okay. And we wanted to use 3 different softwares. So we're first going to be starting with Canva, moving on to Google Slides, which is like really cool and unexpected, and then going with the industry standard of InDesign. And what's I think really cool is that, like, for instance, if you don't have access to the Adobe Suite or a subscription, or you don't want to pay for that right now, Canva and Google Slides are great options to have like free open source like design capabilities at your fingertips. Whereas like say you're like using Canva and you want to like take it to the next level, do some more customization and get used to the industry standard, then you're going to like really enjoy when we talk a little bit more about InDesign. So first I'm going to be talking about Canva. Um, and yeah. And so also throughout the presentation, please remember, drop your questions in the chat, and one of us will be fielding. So this is me. My name is Jocelyn. I'm the media center. I work at the media center, and I'm the media specialist. And I'm not like by any means like a graphic designer. That's not really the medium I necessarily work in all the time, but I found like Canva infinitely useful for like creating title sequences and cards and Instagram posts and all these other things. And I think it's a really also great medium for making zines. I'm going to show you. So this is the zine that I ended up making. I'm going to show you what I have, and then I'm going to backtrack and quickly try to put it together roughly. But I just wanted to point out a couple things. In my design principles, I was like, I like to lean away from true blacks and whites to create a more complex color palette. Um, and I just like wanted to point out that like my text isn't black. It's like an off black, and my like background isn't white. It's like an eggshell. Anyways, even though you can't do everything with Canva, you can figure out ways to add filters and transform free images. So Canva has, the free, and then it has like a premium, which you pay for. You really don't need the premium in my eyes because they have so many filters and ways to transform the images. Like I did with this image in the back, and it was a free image on Canva. So that's like pretty cool. And I guess just another thing to note, when I was thinking of the theme, I decided to just create a table of contents that incorporates elements of pathos and pathos, for both, like, I guess, the plant and the human that you also need to grow. And I just wanted to mention, which I did at the top, that I'm doing a DIY zine. So like this is a zine for that's going to include how to. So like just imagine the pages would be like tips on planting, also tips on self-care. On Google Slides, Rita will be doing a fanzine. And then lastly, Jenna on InDesign will be doing a personal zine. So we're also trying to incorporate like some different frameworks to look at zines, like far as like design and also software. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into Canva. Can everyone see this Canva screen?
You're good.
Cool. Awesome. So this was my original design, and I'm going to quickly create it for you. So we're thinking about doing like quarter sheets. So like the standard, if you are folding like was 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, that's the size of zine we're going to make. So I can come into Canva and I can use custom dimensions. So make sure to change it to inches. And so about half those things, 425 by 55, and I'm creating a new zine. On the left-hand side, there are different templates, but we're going to create one from scratch, but you can work with photos, you can upload photos, you could do text, change the background, etc. I'm going to go ahead and start working with the background. So I'm going to go ahead and try to do an eggshell, some would say. And that's just a start. And I'm going to start putting in text. So I think one thing that can kind of be, that in some ways can be a little tricky with Canva is like how you're organizing the text and how you can like actually group things together, which is super useful. But I'm going to start with just like some simple text, just like the heading. Um, I want to select obviously a better font. This is one I think I like. Look, check out the position of the words. And I think this is pretty good. So you can just select it once you have the like um, the option to do that. And I think this is about a good size. So let's talk a little bit about like this grouping and like making headings and subheadings. So like these pieces. You're going to in Canva be able to create like several subheadings and you can actually link them all together. But first you'll do heading, subheading, body text, subheading, body text. You can do this with any combination and they'll just fall right underneath. So super easy. But then say I want to make this list again. I'm not exactly sure on the um, like the text or anything, but I can go ahead and group these. So like say if I wanted to move this ever again, it will always be moved as a group without having to press select all, basically. So I can go in, work with the subheading, seed, or what order did I do this? Seed, plant, grow. Yeah. Grow. I'll just copy over my body text for the sake of, brevity. So try this out in here. We can adjust the size later, but this is basically, I'm roughly going to get to about the same place I was with this, though I did, it took me probably like, I don't know, 45 minutes to actually like make all my little like modulations to the design, but you can roughly get to a good place pretty quickly using Canva. And definitely going to shrink some of that text. So we're looking here, we can probably make it a little smaller. You can see when you also group them, like when you pull it in, pull it out, it will change the font size, which is like pretty useful. And for the moment, I'm just going to leave it something like this so we can move on and talk a little bit about images and background. Actually, I kind of hate the way that looks. I'm just gonna probably move it over. Just, for my aesthetic peace of mind. But yeah, do we have any questions in the chat so far?
Nothing so far.
Okay.
Although
I know
Lisa
a lot.
Gordis commented that she's used this for virtual backgrounds, I think.
Yeah, it's great. They have templates for everything. They actually have really great, if you like care about, I don't know, like corporate stuff. They have like kind of good resumes, like templates as well. But if that's your thing. So roughly this isn't exactly like how I like the spacing. And you can always, for instance, select this, ungroup it, and like, make further adjustments and say like, actually, let's do something more like this. So this isn't so stuck like spacing. And then, but you can then select it all, group it again so you can freely move. But nothing's forever. So I actually want to go ahead and start working with photos. There are a lot of photos you can choose from. They have a lot of images, a lot of stock images as well. But this is the photo that I ended up selecting for this project. And it looks pretty basic, but I was able to do a couple things that enabled me to like transform the look. So it automatically went to the background for me, but you can like change the position. You can make it forward, so that like cut out our title. But let's just move it backward. This is what we want. Um, but we can add some filters to the image, or effects to really give it like, I don't know, make it pop, make it look a little different. So I really love the sea green, and it takes a minute to apply this filter. I think it's really cool. And then we can address the transparency so the text still like pops. So let's like make it something like that. And then I realized, for instance, I don't know if I like these blacks. It feels like pretty harsh. You can always come back to the text. It's really simple, and you can say like, "Hey, like let me try out off black." And like I don't have these memorized. I literally just have these written down, but just to like kind of make sure it's not too harsh in my design, because I kind of like that something a little bit more minimalist and muted. That's just my personal taste. Um, cool. And so I think the next thing you would do is like, say you're ready, you can download it. You have a bunch of different formats. You can do PNG, JPEG, a PDF, a GIF. They also have video stuff that you can do. Say if you were going to make multiple zines or like multiple pages, and we're not just doing a title page, you can add pages, whatever. But I recommend probably downloading a PNG or JPEG and then placing them. Jen has these that are available, but placing them on a quarter size zine template, like in Word, and that will just be great for printing. So I just want to like head back over here and just talk a little bit about exporting. I think, you can download all the pages as a PDF and then open your PDF or Acrobat and then decide to print as a booklet. But, that's only if your printer is very kind to you. I think the safest way to do it is to download your creation as JPEGs and then placing them on like a quarter sheet Microsoft Word template and placing them on top, and then going ahead and printing and folding. So that's all I have. I'm going to stop sharing.
Great job, Jocelyn. You came in at 12 minutes. And we had
Awesome.
15.
Cool.
There are a couple questions in the chat.
Okay, I see.
I guess the first one, which was Professor Gordis again, I don't have a template for Apple Pages. Maybe you can adapt the one that I made for Word and InDesign, and we can add that too.
Oh yeah, you can definitely just open docs in Pages. It shouldn't be a problem. But yeah. And I do think like Pages and Keynote is also like is a little bit more aesthetic and has some cool elements more so than the Microsoft products as well. So.
And thanks, Emma Karin, for sharing that tidbit that PNGs might be are downloaded at higher res and might show the images better.
Yep.
Yeah, I think if it's like, what Jocelyn did with just like the text in the background, JPEG's going to be fine. But if you're planning on adding lots of layers of text and things like that, sometimes your computer will be like, that file is way too big. So if you download it as a JPEG, it's just going to smash everything together. And then you're going to open it and be really sad. Ask me how I know.
Yeah, I mean, definitely think of JPEGs as slices of cake. And like, for instance, like a PNG or like a raw image, especially like with camera stuff, as like the whole cake. So it's like you slice your cake, you have your, still have your filling and the cake flavor, but it's not the whole cake, if that makes sense. Um,
Yeah, so we should move on to Rita, and then we're hoping to have plenty of time at the end for more discussion.
Okay, hi, I'm gonna share my screen so you guys can see what I'm doing. Awesome, okay. Can everyone see? Is it good? Yes?
Looks good.
Okay, cool. First, want to introduce myself. I'm Rita. I'm a sophomore at Barnard. I'm a Zine assistant. So I've been working with Jenna since the beginning of my first year at Barnard. I studied poli-sci and sociology, and I'm excited to show you guys my fanzine using Google Slides. I am in no ways a graphic designer, like whatsoever. I feel like most people know Google Slides because it's good for lectures and creating slide decks for classes and presentations and stuff. But there's actually like so much you can do with it creatively if you just know some like small tips and tricks and stuff. So that's what I've been using to make like any presentation or any zine or any like fun creative thing that I have in mind. And I hope that the tips that I share with you guys here today will be helpful. So I'm making a fanzine. I'm going to show you guys my fanzine. Basically, like fanzines are like things that you like, things you don't like. Basically, you can make anything you want. So I'm following the general pothos to pathos kind of theme that we have going on today. So the first thing that I want to show you guys is the sizing of the zine if you're using Google Slides. So a lot of people don't know that you can go and change the orientation of your Google Slides from the regular like rectangle slides that you may think of when you think of slides to this like zine kind of page situation. So you can just go to files and do page setup, and they give you different like ones. These are like the standard ones, but I go into custom, and 4.25 times 5.5 we find works the best when it's for zines and you plan to like export it as a PDF and stuff after. So that's kind of what I'll do, and I will apply it. It was already like there, so there was not much change, but that's the first thing I will do. And something that is also really important to me that I think can really change the way a zine looks is color. And I love color coordination. I love making things look like really cute through color. I think it's a really easy way to make it look really put together. And something that I love that one of my good friends in high school shared with me is this website called colors.co. And it's basically trending color palettes online. And I found this super helpful, especially because a lot of the time, like I don't really know where to start with colors, and Google Slides doesn't give you like many color palettes, and it's just kind of like the rainbow, and it's like very harsh. So, and you kind of have to play around. But this website makes it super easy for you to just look at all of the different color palettes that are trending, and like they're so cute. Like look at all of these. Like why wouldn't you want to use these? You know. And then you can just basically like click it, and then it'll copy the hex code, and then you can go into like backgrounds, and I'm not going to change it because I like the ones that I have here, but you can just paste the hex code into here, and it'll do it for you. And then you can create your own little palette within Google Slides, and so all of your slides and your like text and stuff will be coordinated. And I think it really adds to your zine. So in addition to that, something else that I think really adds to your zine in Google Slides is fonts and shading of fonts. So I feel like people don't really know that you can like do more fonts than like Times New Roman and Arial within Google Slides. You can just click more fonts, and it'll give you like a bunch of different options. Something that I found to be really helpful is to literally just go on Google and look up like best graphic design fonts within Google Slides or something like that. And a lot of different things will come up. And that's kind of how I found the one that I'm using today, I just play around and see what I like, and I make sure that like the different fonts look good with what I'm typing, because some fonts will look good with like uppercase letters, but they won't look good with numbers. And it really is just like playing around with it creatively and seeing what you personally enjoy. And so I personally like doing a lot of my things in all lowercase. I just enjoy the way it looks. Um, with this title, I decided to do two of the exact same thing and just layering them over each other to create kind of like a shadow effect. And it adds like a lot of, I think, depth and like a small detail to the zine that I think is just really interesting and I enjoy. And for this image here and for all the graphics within my fanzine, I don't really know how to create like cool graphics, so I get everything from the internet. And so when I do that, I just go into Google and I look up something like plant graphics. But what I'll make sure to do is go into tools and usage rights and Creative Commons licenses to make sure that everything I use is copyright free, and it's free to use on the internet, and it's just in case like I want to share my zine everywhere, I want to make sure the people that like I'm taking the work from like agree to like have it shared and stuff. So I'll just make sure to do that before I do anything or take any graphics from mine, and then I'll use them normally. And I will put the links to them in the back to give credits to the different graphics that I use. Something else that I like doing to make your zine a little more interesting is using things and kind of like rotating them and playing with how they like the dimensions kind of interact with the page. And so this is the same image. I just rotated it and put it so it looks like the vines are kind of like growing inwards. And I thought it looked really interesting and cute. Something else that I really like doing is when it comes to fonts and like title and headings, I really like using the highlight tool. You can just like change it. I make it so that whatever color I make the text really contrasts with the background. I think it adds a lot to your zine. So I'm gonna just change it to the one that I had originally. And I feel like everything just kind of pops a bit more rather than just having a plain text title and like a plain color background. I feel like this is a lot more put together, even though I am going for an overall kind of like color block minimalist theme. I feel like this ties it all together a lot more. Something else I really like doing is, I did it on this last slide, is having an image in the back. And Jocelyn did this too, but I like making it so if I want to add more dimension to a page or make something more interesting, I'll find something that's kind of like a pattern or has like a little small element, and I will put it in the back and make the transparency higher so that it doesn't clash too much with the text and the stuff on top. And so wait, I'm gonna have to click it. There's a lot of different elements. But yeah, I click it and then I will just go to format options, and then you can adjust the transparency. So like if it wasn't transparent at all, it would look like this. And that's just like super harsh on the eyes and you like cannot see any of the text or read anything. And I just don't like how it looks. But you can just bring the transparency up. And I feel like that looks so cute and like delicate in the back. And it's like a small detail that really adds to your page. And you could have found like a bunch of different like flower or like little plant ones and done them throughout the entire zine. I chose to keep it more simple, but like I think that would look really adorable as well. So those are some of the tips and tricks that I have for you. Do I have any questions in the chat? No? Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. I hope you guys enjoyed my little presentation here. I honestly feel like the best way to get familiar with Google Slides as a creative tool is to just play around with it. I'm somebody that doesn't really love applications that have too many options like and overwhelm me. And I feel like Google Slides is pretty straightforward and to the point. And if you learn how to use some small little design hacks like I showed you, it can be really helpful if you're trying to make something.
Oh,
Yeah.
Rita, there is a question.
Okay.
How do you download your pages from Google Slides?
Oh, as like a PDF. You can do file and then where is it, download, and then you can do PDF, or if you want to do the thing that Jocelyn does, you can do JPEG and you can download like each slide as a separate image. Is there anything else? Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing then. I think that's it. Cool, thank you guys.
Okay, thank you, Rita, and thank you, Jocelyn. Is anyone else just like just really enjoying the way of looking at Google Slides? Like I had never considered that before. And also after Jocelyn did her when we were rehearsing, after Jocelyn did her first Canva practice session, I immediately made the next graphic that I made using Canva. So it'll be sort of funny that
Oh, that's so great.
yeah. Okay, and Lisa, we will get to that question after. I think it's really just up to you though. Okay, so sorry, I'm at a frame of mind where I really get confused and distracted by too much changing context. So let me try to be I'm going to share, and I think I have to share my whole desktop. And you can see me trying to join Zoom. Uh-oh. Okay, so Adobe InDesign, let me see what happens if I share it from here. Ugh, sorry. All right, I'm just gonna keep it as is so I don't confuse myself further. Okay, and my cats have not been paying attention to me all day, and now I'm being besieged by an eagle. This is Eagle. He's going on the floor now. Bye, Eagle. Okay, so oh, okay, here's my introduction where I tell you I'm a fraud, which I kind of am, because I do kind of suck at InDesign, and I am also not a designer. But what I do know and what I'm hoping to model for you is the fact that you don't have to know everything to use a tool, that I want to extend the do-it-yourself DIY philosophy of zine making into my approach to like using a tool or trying to design something for myself. So between um, watching videos and getting help from friends and just fooling around with it, I've learned enough so that I can use InDesign well enough that I can DuckDuckGo myself out of a jam. And I'm trying to like show how data secure I am by saying DuckDuckGo instead of Google. But for many people, that would be Googling yourself out of jam. Okay, so that's the main scoop with that. For folks who are affiliated with Barnard, you have access to InDesign through a desktop tool called Aporto. We've tried to get you all access to all the tools that you would have if you were using the labs in the Milstein Center or in the dorms. So we've gotten you access to this stuff, and I've heard mixed things about how well it works. So would love feedback on that because we want you to be happy. And I've also shared the template that I've shared my actual design in here. And now I'm going to go into it. So here's my design. And this is what the template looks like. For me, making a quarter size zine can be really confusing. So I've made myself this template that helps me know what's where. And as Jocelyn was saying, printing can be super hard and confusing. So I like to just take all of the guesswork out of it for the printer's sake and just like have it so that all I have to do is export this and print it, and it's going to print in the right size. And again, I will share this with you. I've also made templates for 16 and 24 pages and for a half page zine, so I can get you all of that. What I'm going to try to do now is replicate what I have made here. So, okay, when we practiced this the other day, I wasn't looking at my notes and I screwed everything up. So the first thing I want to do is place the leaves image I didn't know what pothos was. I didn't know what that trend was until the others told me about it because I'm not a plant person. So so I had to like look it up, and I found one online. Like Rita, I found one that was free. And I think this is in my Barnard folder. I'm so embarrassed that I don't know what folder I was in. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I'm pasting in my leaves. If you just leave it, it's going to be anchored where it was. And this is again where I'm showing my InDesign ignorance. So what I always do is I hit Control Z or Command Z, depending on whether I'm on a Mac or a PC, and then I place it where I want it. So I'm going to place it here for now, and then drag it over. And I'm just going to try to approximate what I've got going on above. I just like Jocelyn was doing, you pull it out, but look, it didn't drag itself. You have to tell it to. So I find that fit content proportionately is the most useful. And then this is like my big trick. I am clicking on this and I'm going over here to text wrap, and I'm going to have it like go around the circle. And then I'm going to say detect edges. And now anything else I have on here is going to know that this is a leaf shape and will conform to it if I ask it to. Okay. Oh, and I forgot to delete that thing underneath. I think I'm just going to leave it for now. I'm going to get rid of it. All right, I'm dragging this back where it was. It takes a while to get the confidence to just like drag things around, but I'm finally getting there, and you will too. So the next thing I want to do is I'm hitting Command D again, and I'm going to get my next image, which I made in Photoshop. All of the Adobe Suite tools work pretty well together. So this is me being scared because I'm afraid of plants. And I'm so scared that I'm like at a weird angle. Just like the others, I can do that. And just like the others, so I'm right clicking on the image. And I know I'm going super fast. Like our idea behind this workshop was not to like take you through everything step by step. It's just to give you a bunch of ideas of what is possible, and then you can fool around on your own. This is not how I learned that. This is not the best pedagogy I've ever learned, but I attended an Adobe Photoshop workshop where the person did just this, and I thought it was awesome. So I just made a bunch of notes and used them or not as I've been going. So I hope it's okay for you, and if it isn't, I hope you tell me. Okay, so just like the others before, I'm gonna show that I can arrange this. I'm gonna send my little face backwards. Oh, good. Now I'm hiding behind the leaf, even though I'm afraid of the leaf. I'm gonna also make this image detect edges. Okay, here's the other thing I wanted to show you. This is another really favorite tool. I can right click on my face. Here, I'm gonna move it. No, not you. Okay, so see how I'm trying to click on the face thing and I can't get to it because the leaves are on top because I sent it to the back. So what I can do is I can go to select, and I'm going to try next object. Sometimes this works better than others. Let me try it one more time. All right, that's not getting me there. So I'm just going to go over to this one that I can mess up for a second. Now I'm royally messing it up. All right, I'm Control Zing myself back to health. Here's what I'm doing is I am going to click on this color theme tool, and I'm clicking on my face. It picked up the leaves, which isn't really what I want. I really want it to grab my face or my hair. All right, I'm going to stick with this for now, though. So I can add it to my palette. And now if I click on whatever other tool, I get rid of it again. So now you can see up here, I've got all these different themes that I've added. This is the one I added just now. And this is actually the one that I was trying to grab. So I could now just use any of these colors anywhere. So sort of like Rita did, she likes to have a cohesive theme. And then I also like to do that. I like to create a cohesive theme based on the colors in one element of my design or a different element, whichever one you want. Okay, and I want to draw your attention to the fact that I've got these margins set up. A big mistake that rookie zine makers make is not leaving space at the edges. So you always want to leave about a quarter inch around your zine so that when it prints or when you photocopy it, you don't lose pieces of it. However, I've let my leaves part extend beyond because I kind of like for them to break out of the box, and I don't really care if they get cut off. And I learned that from an actual designer. Okay, now I just want to do a background image. So I'm going over to this rectangle tool, and I'm gonna make a little background. And I was thinking at first that I would try using a color from my from that I'd saved previously or that was part of one of my sets. And as Rita was showing, and I think Jocelyn showed this too. Yeah, Jocelyn showed it too. You can mess around with the tint of it. But really what I want to do is if I'm trying to mimic what I did a second ago, I'm going to go over to my dropper again and grab this. And I see this one and I can just paste that in. Okay. Now my last little bit is I want to send this to the back. Oh, I forgot my titles. That's funny. Okay, so here's the text tool. I can just type in pathos to pathos, and you can see how it's wrapping around the leaves. Same thing. There's a billion fonts that you can use. And I can tell it that I don't want it to automatically hyphenate. Oops, except this little panel of you all is in the way. How do I send you to the back? All right, I got rid of you. Okay, so I can hyphenate it. For the moment, I'm not going to take the time to go through all of that. I do want to share with you another thing that I've figured out over time is using an online font making tool. I made my handwriting font. So that is a fun thing to do. I'll add that link in, which I don't think I have. But the thing about making your own handwriting font is the free version doesn't let you make every single character in the world. Here, I'm going to show one other quick thing. Right now, it's doing the spacing automatically, but I want my words to hang together a little bit better. So I just changed how far apart the lines are. Because this is my own handwriting font, it wasn't available in bold. So I click on the word that I want to embolden and I go to stroke, and I can go here and go to 0.25. And if I wanted to make it italic, I could go up here to this italic tool. And I think, oh, and then if you want to, like if all these lines kill you, which they did me when I first started using InDesign, you can just go to view and go to overview print, and then you can see a little bit better what the thing looks like. and I've created this whole thing, but it's upside down. So I could spin it. Oops, I'm in the wrong thing. This happens to me a lot. You get in the wrong tool. So I could spin this around, and if they're not all being grabbed, then I can just sort of use the shift command, or I could just try again to get all of it. Okay, it looks to me like it captured the whole thing now. So you just spin it around, it got everything, and now I've got my page that'll match my template. To export this, you go to File. I find that it's better to print from a PDF, so I would export it to PDF and print it from there. Okay, that's the main scoop. I'm going to unshare, or I'm going to go back actually to my slides and see if there's anything I'm forgetting, because I'm very good at forgetting things. No. Okay, so I guess I'll leave this up for a second, but Rita can let me know what's been going on in the chat.
There hasn't been many questions, more just like small discussions and comments. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. So then I want to draw your attention to a couple of things. You can get in touch with Zines or IMATs, and Zines will get to me and to Rita, and IMATs will get to Jocelyn. We have a zine making workshop coming up in about 2 weeks that we'd love to have you attend.